my fixing our makeup. I don't know. Fixing our hair.
Mr. Schneider, Rob, right here. How are you? I just do one of, yeah. This is for the good old time. For a good old time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Why do I get a chair and you guys don't get a chair? Well, sorry, I'm going to sit down. All right, I'll stand up. What school do you go to? Yeah. What about you? Today, I got one day in. Okay. All right, good to see you guys.
I'm here. Kim. She always says that. The boys are from Vegas. Not forever.
Leo.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's my honor.
Love to have that. What? I think that's
It's my honor. We're going to do good stuff. Yeah. Oh, here. I got a chef who's going to fly in.
Your collar is up on that side, right side.
Hey, do you know I was standing third row on the end here, and Siri pops out of the tunnel. He's standing next to me before his secretary walks out, and I looked at him and I go, because I never
I did a story when I campaign, they wouldn't even do it. He called the Trump campaign. 30 minutes later, he was on the phone. That night, he was on stage.
I want to know something. So, I don't know. I guess you. Barely have I look at it and I'm like, I mean, because Aaron Siri came out of the tunnel right before you walked out. So I'm like, right, everybody want to have a seat? Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. This is a historic moment in the Arizona State Senate, but before we begin, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to all the individuals who have made the healthy movement what it is today. That's each and every one of these parents up here and everyone sitting at the dais. Sitting beside me, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Absolutely, absolutely. House Representative Leo Biasucci. The talented Rob Schneider. Maricopa County Superintendent Shelley Boggs. And certainly not the least, Dr. Julie Hinman. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Senate Majority Leader Janae Shamp with Legislative District 29. Thank you. I sit here before you today, not necessarily as an elected, but as a perioperative nurse manager who got fired for not taking the COVID vaccine. I grew up sick with a sick parent. I grew up hospital bedside, more time in the hospital than ever on a playground. When she passed, I became a registered nurse. Healthcare is not a profession for me, it's a passion. And when that passion was taken, I knew that I needed to do something to ensure that it didn't happen to anyone else here in the state of Arizona. Healthcare in America has become sick care. And before I left the operating room, the red flags had already begun to surface. By the time that I walked away, or was forced out, I would prefer to say, I understood the truth. Science was not being practiced. It was being purchased. We all know that good health starts with what we put into our bodies, but for decades, Americans have been exposed to additives that have been banned in countries around the world. These chemicals have been linked to everything from behavioral issues, cancer, hormone disruption, and nervous system damage. Despite the overwhelming scientific evidence, they have remained in our food until now. This is a historic moment of leadership for our state. Arizona is once again proving that we will stand up for what is right, even if we face opposition. We are prioritizing the health of our citizens, our children, over corporate interests. We are choosing science over profit. We are choosing the well-being of our children over outdated policies that have left them exposed to unnecessary risks. So together we will continue to fight where every Arizonan has the chance to thrive, and together we will make Arizona healthy again. So this is a landmark day for Arizona, and we are taking a step forward with legislation that will ban some of the most dangerous chemicals that are artificially placed into our children's school lunches. I will now turn it over to the bill sponsor, House Representative Leo Biasucci, to discuss his important and landmark legislation.
Perfect. Thank you, Madam Majority Leader. So I first want to start off thanking this man sitting next to me right here. You know, there was a moment in August where he and President Trump came together and said, we're going to do what's best for the country. We're going to do what's best for the health of our people. They didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. But he did because he loves this country too much. And I want you all to give him a round of applause for that moment. You know, it's funny, I like to share the story because it's a good one. And everybody here that's been to Europe, raise your hand, you've traveled to Europe. So you're going to relate to this story that I tell you about when I was in Europe this summer, and I'm eating pasta, I'm eating pizza every day, I'm having ice cream, yet I'm not gaining a pound, which is incredible. I feel great, and that's really what started this all off, because I asked myself, what is the difference? Why is it that I'm able to eat all these foods overseas, and yet when I come back to the States, if I had that kind of diet, I would be 300 pounds in a week. So I started to look at the ingredients. I went to the grocery store, I turned around the labels of cereals, of pastas, and all these ingredients, and you're seeing that you have red 40s, blue dyes, potassium bromate. All these chemicals that are in the United States are not in Europe. And so when I started to do a deep dive back in the States, I realized that all these ingredients are banned in Europe for a reason. You look at red 3, red 40, potassium bromate, they're causing cancer, they're causing attention deficit disorders, they're causing all these behavioral issues. And what really made me mad is when I look at the box of Kellogg's in Europe, of Fruit Loops. The same exact company that makes Fruit Loops in the United States has a different product in Europe. So in Europe, they've removed the red dyes. They've removed all these toxic ingredients, but yet here in the States, they're still poisoning our children. That is wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say today, with a vote of 28-0 in the Senate, HB 2164, which bans all of these toxic ingredients, has passed the Senate and the House, and is on its way to the governor.
Representative Biasucci,
Yes.
I believe that the two bills are actually on the governor's desk as we speak.
There we go. So on the governor's desk, which is incredible. But I just want to talk about how this is an incredible moment in history. You know, we have people that have been talking about this for a very, very long time. You talk about, you know, the Dr. Amons, the Dr. Mercolas, the Callie Means, the food babes. So many people have been talking about the health of our children for so long, but it wasn't until Secretary Kennedy was able to get in the position that he's in with that biggest microphone that people finally listened. And here we are today, about to save every one of these children's lives in front of us by doing these bills. And so I just want to say thank you to all my colleagues in the crowd, every single one of you here. You've supported me from day one. You've helped me from day one. The moment where I got pushback from the industry, you told me, don't give in, don't give up, do not bend the knee to their demands, do what's right. And I want to thank you all for doing that, because that gave me the courage to stand here today and say I did not change a single ingredient from this bill from the original version, and I couldn't have done that without your help.
Bravo.
So that being said, let me turn it over to the comedian. Rob Schneider, everybody.
It's a pleasure to be. This will be the last time that I'm the same height as these children in front of me. And I would like to first thank the Democrats in the state legislature here for joining the Republicans unanimously for doing what's best for our children. This is not partisan. This is people. These are our children. These are the most important, precious members of our society. This is our future. This is everything. Now, people have been saying that for decades. This is the first administration in my lifetime that's actually doing something about it. And it really is a testament to this great state that we can get together and do something that is 100% positive for everyone in this state. And I will say this, and you know, the numbers are absolutely stunning. What's happening with our health in the United States is an abject failure. We must make changes, and we're going to make changes for these precious people and these children here. And I won't speak long, but I will say that if we don't get a handle on our health, nothing else matters. And as has been said, and I think Secretary Kennedy said, you may have problems in your life, but if you have a health problem, that's the only problem you have. Mm-hmm. Now, it's going to help our kids learn. It's going to help, and we're working. I want to thank Representative Biasucci for bringing me along on this. Is that we're going to figure out a way to get these beautiful farm fresh foods into the schools for these children, so that they can have a chance. Because a lot of kids, this will be their only meal of the day. Let's not have some processed, chemical-laden thing that doesn't help them think, that may cause behavioral problems. Let's get them the best things, what they deserve. And I want to thank the parents in the room, because it's going to take the parents, it's going to take the educators, and we all want to do it. So it's 100% positive. So I want to thank everybody in the room for participating in this, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
I'll just say, lastly, I want to say I've known Secretary Kennedy for over 30 years. And he is just a driven, honorable, loving person. And I will say that it is an honor to be your friend. And what you're doing and the sacrifice that you've made and how you put yourself in this position, it's really inspiring for so many Americans. And the love that you feel from the people here is the love all over this nation, and how grateful we are to you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Well said, Rob. Very well said. So with that, it is my great honor to welcome a man whose name is synonymous with courage, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Mr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. Sir, we thank you for standing here today with us, sitting as it may be, but standing shoulder to shoulder with us in this fight. The movement that you've created, that we're able to, as you work from the top down, meet you from the ground up. Arizona is eternally indebted to you for your service. So with that, would you please make a few remarks? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Janae. Thank you, Leo. I also want to thank President Trump for putting me here and for allowing me to live my dream of fighting to make America healthy again and doing that effectively. I was involved in the tobacco litigation back in the 1980s. The tobacco companies at that time were the most cash-rich companies in the world. And they saw the writing on the wall that they were facing regulatory headwinds, and that their consumer base was moving away from them. So they decided to diversify, and they decided to buy food companies. So by the mid-1990s, the two biggest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris. And they took thousands of scientists that they had employed to make tobacco more attractive and more addictive. And they moved them to do the same thing with foods. And they began going into their laboratories and developing tastes and mimicked real food. And people eat those products today, and our bodies are not designed to metabolize them. And your body is seeking the nutrients that go along with that taste, but there are no nutrients. Our food today, it used to be nutrient dense. Today it's nutrient barren. And your body craves it. It's looking for the nutrients which it associates with those tastes. And that's why your body remains hungry all the time. And so you eat more and more, you gain more and more weight, and you're never satisfied. They also developed a whole slew of other chemicals. For example, they learned that one of the ways that your brain tells your stomach that it's full is it counts the number of times you chew. So they began adding softeners to the food to trick your brain into never being able to tell your stomach that it's full. And using this, many, many other chemicals, they poisoned our food supply in our country. And they made it, as I said, nutrient anemic. We're now the fourth most obese country in the world. And for the first time in history, we're seeing obesity and malnutrition in the same people. And Leo was talking about his trip to Europe. I shared an anecdote with him. I had a son who had chronic eczema. And anytime he ate pasta or bread, he would get outbreaks on his whole body, and they were excruciating for him. He went to University of Bologna for a year, and he ate spaghetti 3 times a day. He never had an outbreak. His eczema disappeared. And this, what we're doing to our children is criminal. And we have to stop. We are now the sickest country in the world. When my uncle was president, 3% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, 60% have chronic disease. We are the sickest country in the world. Our autism rates have now gone from 1 in 10,000 in my generation today, in 70-year-old men, to 1 in every 31 in my kids' generation. The diabetes rate has exploded. When I was a kid, an average pediatrician would see a single case of juvenile diabetes in a 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is diabetic, even more, 38% by the latest NIH numbers, which I just read. 38% of teens now are diabetic or pre-diabetic. 50% of our adult population. This affects everything in our country. It affects our national security. 74% of American kids cannot qualify for military service. When my uncle was president, we spent zero nationally on chronic disease. There were no treatments. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion a year. It is bankrupting our country. And this step that these brave legislators took, and I want to thank the Senate President who's here also. Will you just stand up? We finally have an opportunity to address this, and it's happening at the grassroots. People are saying, we are not going to take it anymore. We are not going to be mass poisoned by an industry that has captured our regulatory agencies. And this is what Leo was talking about. We have 10,000 ingredients in our foods, and the Europeans have 400. And that's because we have a captured regulatory agencies. They've captured our politicians. And I want to challenge the press. If you find a legislator or political leader in this state, go out and find one after this meeting who did not support the SNAP waiver legislation. Ask them why. Get them to offer you a rational explanation. I guarantee you they will not come up with one. Why are we paying for sugar drinks that are poisoning our kids and giving them diabetes? If you want a Coke, God bless you, go get one. But the taxpayer should not be paying that in a nutrition program. This is supplemental nutrition. There are no nutrients in that soda. There are none. And why are we paying for that? We should be paying for healthy. We're going to pay for it twice. We're going to pay for it now, and then we're going to pay for it with the diabetes bills later on. Oh, ask them to give you a rational explanation and then sit there and say that does not make any sense. What is the real reason that you voted against this bill? And do your investigation and find out how much money they are taking from the soda industry. And you look at all of these public health groups like the American Heart Association that oppose this legislation. How can they do that? Ask them, how much money are you taking from the soda industry? This is clear cut. There is no reason to vote against this bill except for sheer corruption, because you've been bought off through a system of legalized bribery. And I'm very proud of these legislators and senators for standing up for the health of the people of Arizona. We need... I want to thank President Trump. President Trump has promised to make America great again, and that means he has to make us strong. And we cannot be a strong nation if we do not have a strong people. If 60% of our people are killed, are sick. He's promised to restore to the American public the promise of the American dream. But a healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one. And we have 60% of the people in this country today who only have one dream. And that's that they can make it through the day without discomfort, that they can survive to see their children grow. And we need to take care of these little ones. It is our obligation. It is the obligation of every member of this elected body. And let's call them to task when they don't do the obvious thing. This is easy. It's a no-brainer. And I'm very grateful to these legislators and very, very grateful to President Trump for allowing this to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So also joining us today is Maricopa County School Superintendent Shelley Boggs, and she has been a dedicated advocate for the well-being of our students and the future of our communities for quite some time now. So please, if you wouldn't mind making a few remarks.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Doesn't sound like you can from here. I'm Shelley Boggs, and I have the honor of being the Maricopa County School Superintendent, where every single day my team and I work hard to make sure our students are safe, supported, and thriving. And I'm humbled and honored to be in this room with parents and advocates like Robert Kennedy Jr., so awesome, who believe that keeping our kids, the priority for our kids is making sure that they are healthy. I'd also like to thank President Trump for his bold, forward-thinking vision to make America healthy again. Those words are not just a slogan. It's a message. It's a call to action. And because of leadership and Senator Champ and Representative Biasucci, did I say that right? Biasucci. We are working to make that vision a reality here in Arizona. It's unfortunate that we have gotten to the point in this country that we have to have a law and bill in place to make sure we're not poisoning the kids. It's crazy, but this is where we are. These House bills are going to make sure that this stops. And we get to do that right here in Arizona, and we get to keep Arizona from being sick. This should not be political. It's about putting the children's health first. When our children are strong, our country is strong. Amen. If we want to make America healthy again, we have to start somewhere. And we are starting here in Arizona.
Yep.
Thank you.
Dr. Julie Hinman, who I've gotten to know very well recently, and I am so very grateful for your involvement in this. She is a respected functional medicine specialist who's been a strong advocate for cleaner, safer food. Her expertise and personal passion have played a critical role in raising awareness about the dangers of harmful additives in our food supply. So thank you very much for being here today, Dr. Julie Hinman.
Well, thank you all, and it's wonderful to be here in front of the state alongside of the leaders who have pushed this bill forward and been such advocates. Secretary Kennedy, I am so grateful to sit alongside of you at a moment to have this opportunity to speak on a topic that I have felt so passionately about for more than 2 decades. It is wonderful and emotional at the same time. As I became a mother of 3 kids, age 2 to 9, the impact that I was seeing in my professional career was very apparent that it became more urgent now than ever. I left traditional medicine where I worked for about 15 years in the hospital because I realized that our chronic disease rate and what was impacting our families and our residents here was at a critical mass. As a matter of fact, it almost seems as a swell that it is unstoppable. The stopping, though, starts with these kids and the foods that they are exposed to and the way that we teach and educate our children on how to advocate for what is really healthy and what their outcomes look like. We know that when kids are diagnosed with diseases like diabetes in childhood, they are far more likely to suffer those same consequences into adulthood, and most do not ever undo that condition, including obesity. So it is tragic, and the processed foods have no place in schools. So Representative Biasucci, thank you for including me in this. Senator Champ, I am proud to stand alongside of you as a nurse who is committed to the health of our communities and to the wellness of our state, and more importantly, to our nation. So the fact that this has become a table topic makes me so thrilled, and I'm proud. I'm proud for the parents who are standing up for their children and who are demanding better for them, and from their healthcare providers too, because it is time that your healthcare providers understand the impacts of these foods and the lack of activity that they're getting inside of their routines, and just it has so many impacts. And so I see that every day. I am hopeful. I am excited for where this is headed. And again, I thank you for including me here today.
Thank you very much. You know, as we start to look at this, it almost feels daunting when we first start. And then as it starts to continue to grow and we are able to have so many people involved, and I'd like to have a round of applause for all the parents that brought their kids down here today because they know how important this is. Thank you very much. Thank you. And with that, we'd like to open it up to the press. Kim, if you would like to go ahead and manage that, we'll take questions from the press for approximately about 10 minutes.
Okay, reporters, when you're called upon, you will walk up to the podium, introduce yourself. You will ask one question relevant to this event. Let's start with Stephanie from Arizona Republic.
Hi, Secretary. I wanted to know what your strategy is for stopping the measles outbreak in Texas that continues to grow.
Our strategy has been very successful. There are 640 cases now in Texas. The number continues to grow by the day, but the growth rate of the measles are 640 nationwide, about 440 in Texas. The growth rate has diminished substantially. I would compare it to what's happening in Europe now, where we've had 640 cases here. They've had 127,000 cases and 37 deaths. And so what we're doing here in the United States is a model for the rest of the world.
Thank you. Again, please make sure that the questions are relevant to the topic of the conversation today. Thank you.
Jonathan Cooper, Associated Press.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Secretary. You said on Sunday that the MMR vaccine is the best way to prevent
Sir,
the spread of measles.
sir, I'm going to go ahead and cut you off right there because we're here to talk about what we're doing for these kids. No. Next CDC. No, next question.
Will the CDC be doing
No,
any vaccination
next
efforts
question.
on the ground in West Texas?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 10.
Hi, Secretary and Rep. A lot of the opponents of the MAHA agenda would say that you're not addressing the root causes, which are economic insecurity and food insecurity, economic inequality, underfunded public health systems. What would be your response to that?
My response is that this is a multifaceted etiology, but the principal cause is the poisoning of our food system. Epidemics don't happen for genetic reasons. Epidemics we're seeing them across socioeconomic barriers. We're seeing them everywhere, in every demographic. And the reason for that is our food. No health secretary in history has ever addressed that. And, everything else that people have done in the past is about deciding who's going to pay for the mess, or whether we're going to have a public-private option, whether we're going to have Obamacare, whether we're going to have private insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, and all of those are important debates to have. But ultimately, they're all about like moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. The ship is sinking. Americans are getting sicker. We are the sickest country on earth. We had the highest death rate during COVID of any nation in the world. We had 16% of the COVID deaths, and we only have 4.2% of the world's population. When CDC was asked, why did we have so many people killed, CDC said it's because we have the highest chronic disease burden on earth. The average American, according to CDC, who died from COVID had 3.8 chronic diseases. If we don't address this core reason, then everything else we do is just wormwood and bile. It's meaningless. We have to address this, and it's President Trump's priority that we do so.
A reminder, if your questions are not relevant to this event, they will not answer. Howie, come up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Secretary. My name is Howard Fisher. I'm a reporter with Capitol Media Service. I also have covered the legislature here since 1982 when I actually had hair, so it tells you how long I've been here.
You still got it pretty good.
Well, bless your heart.
Mileage up there.
I did attend the vote in the Senate this morning on these bills, and one of the questions that was raised about sodas, and I appreciate what you're saying about sugared sodas, is yet we're allowing parents to purchase heavily sugared cereals, all sorts of other things, snack bars, and everything else. I mean, where's the line in terms of what the government should be telling people on food stamps they can and cannot buy?
You know, we're not going to solve the entire problem overnight. We have to start somewhere. About 10% of food stamps go to sugar drinks. And it's the quickest and most obvious thing to do. If you look at how much problem these legislatures had in pushing this bill through, it's just for a small category, but it is for the most relevant category, the most important category. The most obvious thing that we should do is to not be paying for this. Now, I want you to understand, if you want to drink a Coke or any kind of other bottled soda, you have an absolute right as an American to do that, and none of these people want to take that away. But if you're spending nutritional money that is paid for by the taxpayer to make our kids healthy, and you're buying something unhealthy with it, and that needs to be corrected. Believe me, I would like to solve the entire processed food program, but we're not going to do that overnight. We're going to do it in the next 4 years.
And
Thank you.
great.
Yes. Kim, Representative Biasucci is going to make a statement in regards
Just
to
really
that
quick
as well.
on Howie. Howie, you're right. I can't believe I'm saying that, Howie.
Wow. Somebody write it down. Yeah. Mark it on the calendar, Howie.
No, but Howie is correct, and I wish this bill for the SNAP side, including the school lunches, I wish it was larger. I wish it included more foods. But even in the SNAP bill with the soda, candy was actually part of that first. But we couldn't come to a definition on what did candy mean. What was it? Is it granola bar candy? And the bill actually died, and we had to make changes. So, although we want to get to that point, this place everything is incremental, right? The legislature, you try to get what you can across the finish line. You need 31 in the House, you need 16 in the Senate, you need one governor to sign it. It's very, very difficult to get a bill signed. And so a lot of times you have to sacrifice your language, you have to make edits and make amendments to get it across the finish line. And this is what happened in this situation, to where I could have said, no, I'm going to keep candy, or I could have kept this or done this or added that. But the point was, I wanted to get the bill across the finish line. Because sometimes you need to have that impact. You need to make that change happen before the conversation continues in the future. And that's what I did with both of these bills. So, Howie, I agree with you. Like, should this be more foods? Absolutely. Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program. Nutrition's in the title. And so to think that we should be giving candy and soda and chips, that's not the design of the program. The design of the program was when a family's in need, and I am here to tell you right here that I will do whatever I can to help any family that's struggling. We all are at a point in our lives when we are struggling. And this is what the program's intended for, to get food on the table when a family's struggling. It's not intended to be what it has become, where now it's fast food and it's everything under the moon except for cigarettes and alcohol and dog food. We need to make change and do what's right for the people of this country and make them healthier. And that's what our goal is with these bills. So, thank you.
If I could just say, this bill is a beachhead. It's the beginning. We have to start somewhere. I wanted it to do more, but we have to do something and to get this thing passed. And I really compliment Representative Leo for pushing this. We have to, to move forward. My kids go to school here, and I'm a resident of Arizona for 5 years now. For a lot of kids, they get one meal a day. This will be the main meal that they eat. And that's a really tough thing to realize, that this may be their one meal. We have to, as Arizonans, we got to make that meal the best that we can for them. We certainly can't be poisoning them.
Absolutely.
We have to do that.
Hi, Secretary. Catherine Houghton with KFF Health News. I am wondering, regarding the bill that you all were just discussing, the Foundation for Government Accountability has been working to pass similar bills in other states since early 2024. I am wondering, have you talked with the head of the USDA about whether they would grant approval for those changes in those states? And also, what do you see as the Foundation's role in public assistant policy?
That's a good question.
I've had many conversations with Brooke Rollins. In fact, I attended last week a rally with Governor Morrissey in West Virginia with her. He passed a very similar bill in that state, a SNAP waiver bill, and signed it. And she has joined me in asking every governor in this country to apply for a waiver to USDA, and she will grant it.
And can you speak to the second half of that, of what you see as the Foundation for Government Accountability's role in helping shape public assistance policy?
I didn't get the question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What you see as the Foundation for Government Accountability's role in shaping public assistance policy on a state level, and Representative, if you want to speak to that as well, too.
Sure, I can, so FGA, a great group that assist with a lot of different policies, a lot of different bills down here. They were behind the SNAP bill, including a bunch of other bills for government accountability. So, look, they're a great group, along with a lot of other great groups. We have, at the legislature, you get contacted by a ton of groups, a ton of policy people, a ton of think tanks that come to you with ideas. They are just one of them. They've done great work. Been happy to run legislation for them, but their main goal is, look, how do we become more efficient in government? How do we make sure we're not having wasteful spending, which is right in line with President Trump and obviously Secretary Kennedy and others in this administration? We want to make sure that government is working in an efficient manner, our dollars going as far as possible, and most importantly, our food is as healthy as it can be for our children. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, everyone that's participated in the conversation behind the scenes and the conversations out in the audience. And let's make sure that these conversations continue. And would you like to make any closing comments, either one of you two?
I'm very grateful to the legislature. I'm grateful to you, Jen, for your leadership, and Leo, and all the legislators who work so hard to get this bill across the finish line. And again, I want to thank President Trump for his support and for sending me across the country to encourage people to do the same thing.
Perfect. And again, thank you guys so much. This is a great day for Arizona, a great day for our children. We're making lasting change. We're doing it for the right reasons. This is why you run for office right here. These are the moments that you run for office. Do what's right. So thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.